Hello, and welcome back to Created and Made. I am Shauna, and today we are going to be doing a swatch and play, which is what I like to call it when I am swatching out a product that is new or new to me, and then I will do a project with that product. So today I am swatching the Dylusions Shimmer paint line. Now, some of these are newer colors and some of them were released kind of a long time ago, but they're all new to me, so I'm going to swatch them out and then go ahead and do a project with them. Now, this is my swatching method. This is the way that I would swatch acrylic paints. I have my gel plate there, and I have some 2x2 watercolor paper. I like to swatch on paper that I would use this kind of paint on, generally speaking. I mean, sometimes I use obviously different stuff, but usually I like to see it on watercolor paper if it's acrylic paint because that's what I use the most. Now I have these 2x2 squares of watercolor paper, that I cut myself, and I have a bunch of paintbrushes off there to the side. Now I use a different paintbrush for each color because I don't want to bother with, rinsing out the paintbrush every time. And what I have is the name of the color written on one side, and you see me flipping the 2x2 cards over before I spread the paint. That's just because I've definitely done it in the past where I put the wrong color paint on a certain card. So I'm flipping it over before I put the color on, and I'm just going to go through all 12 colors in that fashion. Now, after I am done with this, I will put these 2x2 cards in coin sleeves, I believe they're called. I got this idea from, who did I get this from? Jennifer McGuire. These 2x2 cards fit in, when people have like commemorative coins or whatever, like they have these coin sleeves that fit 2x2 cards. Like I will put them in there so that's the way that I store them, so that when I want to go and find some color combinations, I can just easily take them out, put them next to each other, see what they look like, and see if they'll work well together. That's the reason I don't swatch just like on a sheet of paper, just a full sheet of paper with 2x2 spaces marked out. I like to swatch in these individual cards so that when I'm trying to find a color combination I like, I can really hold them right up next to each other and see if they work well together. I mean, this method really works for me. Of course, you can do it any way you'd like to do it. I like doing this on the gel plate just because it keeps all the little squares from moving around. Like if I were painting them on just my desktop surface, sometimes they slide around. I don't like that. The gel plate really kind of keeps them in place while I'm painting, and I just find it a lot easier to do in that way. So this line of Dylusions, it's hard to tell in the video, but this is the shimmer line, like I mentioned. So it definitely has a shine, shimmer, glimmer to it. It has a beautiful shine in the light, and these colors correspond with regular non-shimmer colors that Diane Reevely has in her paint line. Now there are only 12 at the time of me making this video. There's only 12 of these shimmer colors available, but the baseline, the regular acrylic paint line, has about, 30 something, 36 maybe colors. I do have most of them, and I think there's about 36 of them. So hopefully the shimmer line will, you can see the shine there. Hopefully the shimmer line will be expanded in the future. I like these 12 base colors. I feel like there's some colors in the regular line that are really similar and maybe like overkill a little bit, but I find the shimmer colors to be a good representation of some great colors on the spectrum. So now it's time for the play part of my swatch and play, and I have out my Diane Reevely Creative Black Journal in the small size. Now these paints have that shimmer to them, so they show up on black, as you can see. Some of them are more opaque than others. There are a couple that will require a couple of layers to really get the opacity that I'm looking for. And so you'll probably see me do that. I might have cut some of that out, but you'll probably be able to tell the colors that are really translucent right away. I think this is no, this isn't one of them. I think one of them is Calypso Teal. I think is one that I noticed right away, and you'll see that coming up. But what I'm going to do is, with the exception of the black, I'm going to add every single color on the background of this art journal page. And I'm doing that just because I want a good representation of the line. I want to have a project that utilizes the line fully, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I will keep this, it's on fast forward now. I keep it on fast forward. I will have some music on for you guys so you can watch me do the rest of this art journal page process, and I will be back in a bit. Bye bye. Okay, so we have all of our colors on our journal, and now I'm going to go to the pattern I'm going to put on top of it. This is Cubes by Elizabeth St. Hilaire. It's a mask, and I have it on my 9x12 gel plate. I have some white acrylic paint from Anita's, the inexpensive craft paint from Hobby Lobby, I think is where I got it, and I am slathering it on and putting on more than I normally would on the gel plate because I want to get a nice thick coating of it on top of that stencil. That's why I put so much there. So I put the gel plate off to the side. I'm going to bring my journal back, and then I'm going to go grab that stencil with all that paint on it. I'm going to flip the paint side down so that it is on the art journal carefully. You don't want to slip or have it, move under there. And then I have a sheet of paper here, and I'm just rubbing it with some good pressure to transfer that white paint from the stencil onto the art journal. Now, this is, it's not a perfect method. It's not going to transfer perfectly all the time, especially if you don't have a clean stencil, which I did not. So you'll see as I pull this off that I got a good impression of the mask or stencil or what have you. It's a mask. I got a good impression there, but there are some spaces where the impression is not as good as other places. So I'm taking my white paint marker. It's just an off-brand paint marker off of Amazon, and I'm just gonna go in and fill in some of the places where I think it needs to be a little bit darker. And this took a little while, so I think I'm going to cut some of that out here. But I think once it's done, it gives a much better impression of the mask than the original impression was. See, I think that's a lot more opaque. It's a much better representation of what the mask looked like. So now that that's done, I'm getting out some chipboard pieces from Dina Wakley. These are called the Women, I think, and I'm going to paint over the top of this with the last color. I didn't use the black on the journal, obviously, because the journal is black, so I'm using the black shimmer paint from the Dylusions line here on this chipboard piece. Now, I'm painting it again on top of my gel plate just because it doesn't slide around when I use the gel plate. There's no other reason other than that. And I'm just going to try to get the sides because I don't want the sides of the chipboard to be showing in their original color. So after this is all painted up, my idea that I had for this journal page was to do a sort of to add faux hair to this chipboard piece. I'm gonna glue it down. I wanted to add a faux hair, this long wavy thing that goes all the way across the page. That's the idea I had in my head. It didn't really translate exactly how I wanted it to, but it's art journaling. It doesn't always come out perfectly. I think I ended up making it just more of a, just a black line on the page, not so much faux hair, but just a space where I could add my sentiment, and I think it worked out just fine. So what you're gonna see here is me thinking I'm gonna make it hair, but it ends up being something a little less hair like when I'm done. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the music back on for you guys, let you guys see me finish this up, add my sentiment. I'm gonna handwrite it over top of the black, and then I'll do some finishing touches at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this project, and if you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Have a creative day. Bye bye.